Hey everyone, welcome to another video. So it's been a long time since I have posted videos from the workshop, and that is for good reason. Over the last year, I have bought a piece of property and put up a new workshop that's here behind me. So I'm really excited to show you guys what we've been up to. It's not quite completed yet, but I thought it might be cool to do a quick tour through. So let's go check this out. So the building is 3,200 square feet. It's slab on grade, stick built with a partial upper level. Most of the work was done by family and friends. I did hire out some of the bigger stuff, like the shell was framed up by an Amish crew, but let's take a look. So this first room is kind of a lounge, great room sort of area. I wanted a cool area where I could have my cars displayed and some of my own personal collection. And this is ultimately where the finished product ends up. And the workshop is in the back. You can see there's a stairway here that goes upstairs. That's where I do my interior work. And there's going to be a little office area up there. So let's check out what we have here. First off, is the number 2 car. So after I built 001, this was the first car that was commissioned by a Minnesota collector. And I learned how to TIG weld on this car. It's got 40 thousandths aluminum skin. It's mid-engined. It has a VW power plant, VW front beam, zero roll rear suspension like what is used in Formula V race cars. And overall, it's just a super, super fun car. We have it here on display over the winter. We had it just for fun, and then I also have it here because I'm copying some of my suspension that I built off of this for another build. So over this way, we've got my BMW R60/2. This is a 1967 BMW that was converted in the 70s to a Volkswagen 1600cc engine. So it's a 4-cylinder. These conversions were sold, they called them VMWs, and they were sold in the 70s and 80s. I don't know if they still make them, but I think this is a pretty early one. This adapter ring takes a VW engine and mates it up to the existing BMW transmission. So super fun bike. We'll do a full story on that at some point. Over here, we've got the Runge armchair. This is the first piece of furniture that I built, and it turned out pretty sweet. I'm pretty proud of it. We've already sold a bunch of them. Here we've got the twin plug 356 Porsche motor, and I think I'm going to end up putting it in one of my personal builds in the future. Back here is where the magic happens. Here's the workshop. And right now, we've got several builds going. First off with the R2, this is the Porsche 3.6 liter powered 993 engine. It's mid-engined, full A-arm suspension, coilovers. It's got the Tech Art Speedline turbo wheels, and it's gonna be an 1,800-pound rocket. You can see I'm working on the front clip right now, just getting it hammered and dollied out. It's got a 5-speed 915 gearbox and Brembo brakes. It'll have a 12-volt air conditioning system from Classic Retrofit, Porsche 962 windscreen. So I wanted this to kind of look like a futuristic car, maybe that somebody would have thought of in the 30s and 40s and 1990s mechanical drivetrain sort of. So that's what we have going here. Basically, the layout of the shop works with chassis fabrication at the far end, and then the body work this way, and then finished product out in the front. So the next project we have going is a Dodge Viper that we are rebodying. And this is going to be a pretty cool build. We're calling it the Veleno. And you can see here, it has a lot of Aston Martin, Ferrari 275 through here, a little bit of Jag. We've done some mechanical upgrades, just out of the box stuff. So suspension, custom headers, custom exhaust. had custom wheels built for it too. Check these out. So we did kind of a Campanolo style 60s, 70s Italian look for the wheels, and really stoked with how those turned out. They're going to give it a pretty cool and unique stance. Down here we have another RS coupe that I'm building, and this is a new chassis design that I've been working on with a completely removable rear subframe. So existing Volkswagen, Porsche technology, you could drop the transaxle and engine out in one unit, but with this you can take the transaxle engine and the suspension components, everything out in one shot, and it'll work pretty slick. So the 2-buck is the guide for the body work, and that 2-buck is shaped off of my existing wood buck. A lot of people ask me how I fasten the aluminum skin to the 2-buck. I do have a video showing that, where I wrap the skin under and weld it around the parameter of the car. It also gets riveted in places to the inner structure. Oh, this car will have CSP 5x205 discs, rack and pinion steering, Tecno Magnesio wheels wrapped with Pirelli CN36 Cinturato tires. It's got the 2.3 liter engine that I've been working with John Randolph out in California to build out. So it's 200 horsepower, and it'll weigh about 1,400 pounds when this car is done. It's got a 4-speed long box, so really comfortable cruising speeds between 80 and 90 miles per hour, and it's going to be a fast one. So we've got this, and then we've got one more coming after it that will be similar, but a spider version of the build. This car is unique in that the rear end is chopped, kind of that camback style, and my buck was originally designed that way, but I haven't built one like this yet. All the existing RSs had that really rounded tail, so I'm excited to do that too. Now, moving on to some tools. Let's check this. We'll just do a walkthrough over here. We've got my Craigslist bead roller that barely works, but it's still going. Sanding and grinding, polishing here with the Baldor buffer polisher, bandsaw, and then a lathe that I've picked up. I've been learning how to use this, making some cool little stuff like this, playing with. Lathes are fun. You can do all kinds of stuff with them. Down here we've got the horizontal chop style bandsaw, and then little sheet metal finger brake here. I had that in my old shop. A lot of this stuff you guys might be seeing looks new. I've had it in storage. I've just been buying tools and hoarding them and never really had a chance to use them until I had the room to put them in here. So a lot of my family and friends are happy that I'm not using their garages for storage anymore. This is a pretty sweet shear. I'd never had one of these until we built the shop and I was finally able to move it in. It's a 10-Smith 52-inch hydraulic shear, and I don't know how I worked without this thing. It has been so handy. Here we have storage, which is another thing I never really had in the old shop. They were in an old Dodge Chrysler Plymouth dealership from 1935 to 1995. The dealership shut down and left these in the building. My buddy bought the building and gave them to me. So now I actually have storage and no excuse to be messy. Over here, we've got the Liebert shear that's been converted to a reciprocating hammer. And you guys, if you've watched my other videos, I use this a ton for my shrinking. I've got the plastic shrinking dies in there. I also use it for forming different flanges and things like that. And then the F.J. Edwards wheel, which I'm going to do a full video on, talking about the history of this specific wheel and what all I've learned about it. I've looked online to find information on these wheels, and I haven't found a lot of concrete information on the history of F.J. Edwards. So I received all the original documents with this wheel, and I'll do a video specifically on that to share it with you guys. So in previous years, I've been using the air compressor that I bought when I was 13 years old. So that's old, really old. 1993 is when I bought it. Instead of trying to keep that old air compressor alive, I bought this FS Curtis rotary screw compressor, and that has been a huge upgrade. My tools work better. I'm not having water spew out of the tools when I'm using them because it's got a built-in refrigerator, and so that has been pretty sweet. As far as welders and things like that. You guys have probably seen, I started with that little Miller Diversion 180, and now I've worked my way up to a Dynasty, and I love Miller products. They're awesome. Have the little gas welder set up over there for my panel work. I think that's just about it.